We've all heard it, haven't we? The age-old statement, Japan has the world's lowest birth rate. Every time the topic of Japan arises, this assertion somehow finds its way into the discussion. And then comes the stereotypes and armchair analysis. You know the kind I'm talking about, right? Japan's love for robots is making people avoid human connections, or maybe it's all because of their anime culture. But how much of this is truly based on facts? And how much of it is just people making wild assumptions? This is what I'm here today to discuss. So let's dive in and sift facts from fiction, breaking through the common misconceptions. To provide you with insights rooted in facts, I've gone through the pages of Miyagi Hidesaku's enlightening book, Learn Economics from Statistics, to better grasp the complexities of this phenomenon. Armed with this treasure trove of statistics and countless other sources, I will unravel the truth about Japan's demographic changes. It is time to debunk myths and face reality. So, why is Japan's birth rate plummeting? At the heart of it, we need to differentiate between decreasing births and the broader aging of Japan's population. In 2020, the statistics were pretty clear. Japan saw 848,832 births, a substantial decline from the prior year. This marked the lowest in 5 straight years. The picture became even clearer when you look at the total fertility rate Japan has, or the amount of babies every woman has during her fertile lifetime, which was a mere 1.34. Historically, there's been a shift too. Whereas new mothers in the 1970s were primarily between 25 and 29, today's new mothers are usually between 30 and 34. And if that's not alarming enough, the number of women in the prime childbearing age group 25 to 39 is decreasing with no upswing in sight. This suggests 2 key factors: fewer women of childbearing age and a trend towards having children later in life. Not to mention, the COVID-19 pandemic has only added more fuel to the birth rate decline fire. Now, let's talk about repercussions. This isn't just about numbers, it's about how the entire society evolves. Consider Japan's tech scene. Japan is a global tech giant. Still, there's a palpable hesitation among the elderly towards newer technologies. For instance, did you know that as of 2020, a whopping 80% of all transactions in Japan were still cash-based? That's right, a country known as a futuristic mecca still mostly uses cash. And economically, the implications are vast. Younger folks now shoulder the responsibility of an ever-growing elderly populace. Pair that with Japan's increasing public expenditures, especially in healthcare for seniors, and you've got an economy under heavy strain. A glance at the debt to GDP ratio, a whopping 240% of GDP, paints a bleak picture. To understand just how bad it is, let's take a brief historical detour. Post-World War II Japan experienced birth booms between 1947 to 1949, and again in 1971 to 1974, when the baby boomers had their first kids. Sure, countries all around the world have baby boomers, but not like Japan. During the first baby boom in 1947 to 1949, 8 million kids were born. That's a whopping 11% of the total population that was just newborn babies. So, as the baby boomers aged and people stopped having as many kids, Japan has become the oldest society in the world. You see, when 21% of the population is elderly, it is termed a super aging society. And guess what? By 2019, a whopping 28% of Japan's population is considered elderly. The next crucial question we have to ask ourselves is, why is the Japanese population shrinking? There is no straightforward answer to this question, but the intricate interplay of tradition and contemporary life in Japan plays a crucial role. For instance, while in many Western countries, children born outside of marriage is common, in Japan, it is very rare. In 2013, almost 98% of all births were within wedlock. Now this is changing rapidly, but the stigma is still there. But it's not only about tradition. Let's dive deep into the modern challenges. First, living costs are skyrocketing in Japan, and wages are still stagnant. And job security feels like a luxury these days, which were commonplace before. Financial stability is a significant concern for many when considering marriage and children, and hence, the less stability you have, the less children you will likely have. Secondly, work-life balance. I know you heard this, but Japan has one of the worst work-life balances in the developed world. The younger generation, while respectful to Japanese traditions, also crave better work-life balance and do not do things for duty alone like their previous generation. So if work-life balance doesn't improve, it's very likely that they will forego kids for their work. The third thing I want to touch on is gender roles and expectations. Today's Japanese women are more well-educated and ambitious than any previous generation, but societal norms and inadequate support systems make balancing a career and family life an uphill battle. Combine these factors with limited childcare and rising cost of education, and it is clear why many are hesitant about starting a family. So, what's next for Japan? First, to birth and to nurture. These are two fundamental facets that shape a society. And I think it's time for Japan to step up and look beyond its shores for possible solutions. Take France and Sweden as examples. Through well-thought-out policies, they've managed to reignite their birth rates. For instance, France began its journey in the 1990s, emphasizing enhanced childcare and work-life balance. By 2010, their fertility rate impressively rose to 2.03. And Sweden, in its wisdom, bolstered support for new parents, offering perks that increased with the number of children and equal benefits for unmarried couples. This approach saw their fertility rate jump from 1.5 in 1998 to a commendable 1.98 by 2010. So, should Japan break with tradition or risk further decline? First, let's take a moment to remember that in 2005, Japan was grappling with a stark fertility rate of just 1.26. But a mere decade later, they showcased their resilience, pushing the figure up to 1.45. How? The Japanese government, alarmed by the incredibly low birth rate, started focusing on expanding healthcare facilities, addressing the heart-wrenching scenes of young parents on endless waitlists. By 2014, cities like Tokyo and Osaka celebrated a 20% uptick in public childcare centers. And then there's Japan's parental leave policy. Generous and forward-thinking, offering nearly 60% of a parent's salary for a whole year. And this policy includes paternity leave. Yet, there's a big catch. Only 7% of the eligible fathers took this advantageous policy in 2019. The reason isn't about policy limitations here, but cultural reservations. So, after reading about this issue for many years, what do I envision for Japan's next step? Well, first off, the data speaks clearly. A substantial boost in public childcare facilities is the way forward. If Japan ramps up its childcare centers by 30% in the next decade, they'd be addressing a massive 80% of the current demand, which is obviously not perfect, but a very doable compared to trying to address 100% of the current demand. Also, a bit of an unconventional thought. Why not incentivize companies that encourage fathers to take paternal leave? They should be given tax incentives and publicity, because I don't think any policy to improve parental leave can make fathers take more paternity leave if they don't feel comfortable in their companies. I also believe that the policy of womenomics that was started by Shinzo Abe around a decade ago needs to be revamped. That policy had some great ideas of how to empower women and how to make it easier for them to both have a family and be in the workforce, but many of those things haven't come to fruition. Here, the current Prime Minister Kishida could really make a difference by enforcing maternity leave or by making companies liable for firing women based on having kids or discriminating hiring based on if the person might get pregnant or not. Another solution that gets touted a lot is immigration. And I do believe that it can be a very good short-term relief, but it's not the panacea many believe it to be. While it initially boosts birth rates, if immigration and integration is done well, the immigrants adapt to their new home standards. And then the birth rates often begin to mirror the host nation instead of the nation they came from. So yeah, I do think Japan can change, but I do also see the need for a unique mix of policies to make this happen, blending traditional thinking with new thinkings from outside Japan's shores. My final thoughts. Japan's demographic puzzle is intricate, layered with cultural nuances, economic challenges, and societal shifts. And I do truly believe that this current trajectory teeters on the edge of a demographic disaster. And if serious measures are not taken to reverse or at least slow down this current trend, I believe that Japan is definitely heading for darker days. But I believe that Japan has the power to change. And as I've talked about in this video, I truly believe that Japan can and will change if they realize this. There's already great policies being implemented to increase maternity leave and to increase childcare. And now the societal stigmas and pressures just need to change to account for a modern family. Until then, all we can do is hope.